well. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, good morning to everybody. Today is October 19th. It is a Saturday. I always have a hard time remembering what day of the week it is. That's probably not a good sign. Anyway, week 2 of the Open is underway. If anybody has any questions, throw them out there. I will do my best to go back and scroll through them and make sure that we're good to go and everything gets answered. But I had an interesting email roll in today from a member of the private track, and I will keep his name anonymous for obvious reasons here in a second. But I thought that it might benefit a lot of people, the response. I haven't officially emailed him back yet, but I liked it so much that it sparked in my head that a little video should go down. So with no further ado, here is the email. Let me click on it. Okay, the email says, Pat, as a Lynchpin member for the last several years, I would like to solicit some advice from you. Given your background, and I have to assume by background he means time in the SEALs, and time with CrossFit, you're a good advisor, etc., etc. I am starting the application process for a special agent job. Special agent, typically I believe meaning FBI, and need to tailor my fitness to excelling at the physical fitness test to be as competitive as I possibly can be. And the question generally is, would you recommend sticking with Lynchpin as it stands? Should I add in anything specific like push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, sprint and run work, etc.? Should there be some sort of a hybrid model or whatnot? And, so on and so forth. Great question. And this question could be, you could tailor this to any number of things, right? Somebody is looking to join the fire department. Somebody's looking to join the FBI or the police department or whatever. DEA, Green Berets, SEALs, Boy Scouts of America. I mean, you name whatever it happens to be, most have some sort of entry exam. And, how you do the entry exam matters. So I looked up, I could divert into a funny story, but I looked up what the current exam is for the FBI. And from what I could find, if I'm accurate anyway, it's a 5-pronged exam, 300-meter sprint, push-ups, a 1.5-mile run, and pull-ups. And, let's see, is that 5 things? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 things. Let's see, there's got to be sit-ups or something else in there. But anyway, all of those things right there, sprinting, a 1.5-mile run, pull-ups, I'm going to assume that they're strict, and push-ups, none of that should be a problem in any way, shape, or form. If you've been following CrossFit Lynchpin or just well-rounded GPP, general physical preparedness program in general, you should be able to walk into something like that and just hit it. And whatever was said there, I think you would be just fine. I mean, as long as you're not cherry-picking workouts, right? We do plenty of that bodyweight stuff. We build the engine, we lift heavy. We're not afraid of running or sprinting here at Lynchpin. That's for darn sure. And so all of that should be really just wheelhouse stuff. There's a couple ways I want to go with this. I'm trying to stay on track. What would potentially be beneficial is I would assume that entrance exam has specific parameters, in order that the events go down, a certain rest time between each one of those events. And so there is definitely benefit in, depending upon when that test is coming up in the future, let's say if it's a few months away, once every 2 weeks, hop in there and do the test just to feel what it feels like, to feel what those time periods for max pull-ups or max whatever happens to be, how much rest you have between each, how does the order of the events affect what happened before and what happens after, and just so that even though you have the physical capacity to do the work, there's benefit in just having experience as to what the test itself is run like and structured like, so that it's just, when you show up on the real day to do it, it's just second nature to you. You know exactly how you're going to rest. You're going to get a sip of water here. This isn't that big of a deal. Whatever it happens to be, you'll be good to go. So I think you'll be solid. People can help keep me on track if I lose my brain here. the two other things I want to hit are using Lynchpin as a base for many other things, and then an extreme version such as, I just saw somebody mention the Q course, right? A second ago, did somebody mention the Q course? I saw selection mentioned there. Military cardio. Funny, I was thinking about asking you about this too, adding in more ruck and runs for the Q course for SOF. And let's see. Okay, so yeah. So there's a couple things going through my head, and I already forgot what one of them was. We can talk about SOF, if you're going to go into the Army selection program or SEALs or whatnot, which are rather extreme things, right? Most folks aren't going to go down that road. But also, I see, here's how I see CrossFit Lynchpin. And I'm not a chef, so stick with me on this. So I don't know if I'm using a good example or a bad example. But let's say that you were a chef and there was some, I know I shouldn't use dough, right? Dough is not something we want to eat in CrossFit, but just stick with me for the analogy. If there was some sort of dough or base layer or something, which was this universal base or foundation from which you could make 1,500 different delicious recipes, but it all started from this wonderful base layer that you needed and was critical. That's kind of how I see CrossFit Lynchpin, is you can just do CrossFit Lynchpin, period, end of story, nothing else, and you will be not just prepared for life, you'll crush and dominate life, and you'll be, the goal is to have fun when you walk in the gym, not to be overtrained, not to have your knees, back, and shoulders hurt from doing too much and doing unnecessary things. And with just that one workout a day in intensity, you could go do that FBI exam. You can be father of the year, mom of the year. You can be a firefighter. And as I'm going to say here in a second, you're not too far off from being able to go and show up to SEAL school or go to selection in the Green Berets or something like that. But I also want, so you can do that and nothing else, but I also want people to feel that they could use Lynchpin as their GPP, their general physical preparedness base, to launch from other things, to launch into other things. And I don't take any offense to that at all. I'm honored, quite frankly. So let's say not everybody in the world has to love just being a CrossFitter, right? So let's say you love Olympic lifting. You love it. It's your passion, and it's your passion way more than CrossFit. Then go pursue it. It's fantastic. But you also want to have an incredible base of general physical preparedness, because you realize the benefits of that and everything that you do in the world, and you realize that Olympic lifting is a specialty. You could use CrossFit Lynchpin as your base, but if that was your love and you wanted to have a definite bias and be a bit overdeveloped in that area, then you would layer on more Olympic lifting. It doesn't bother me. It's fantastic. Or you could play that same game with, you love powerlifting. You just eat, sleep, and breathe bench press, back squat, deadlift. Your world revolves around it. Nothing makes you happier, but you also understand the benefits of long-term health and fitness, and on top of being able to have a monstrous back squat, bench press, and deadlift, you want to be able to go out and sprint around a soccer field with your kids for 45 minutes on the weekend if they want to do that. You want to be able to throw in a backpack and go on a 4-hour hike if they do that, or whatever it happens to be. And so you layer on that sort of a bias, extra sessions onto CrossFit Lynchpin. I have no problem with that at all. I'm happy to have you as a member of the Lynchpin family. It just depends upon, or maybe you just love to run, right? Probably a smaller crew out there that like that, but if you love to run, layer on some running. Have a blast. Have at it. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do with what I try to create. It can be all that you need, period, end of story. Nothing extra needed at all. Or, if you have something that you love to do it for sure. So I saw somebody mention a second ago, and I'll get back to here about the Army selection. Let me make sure I just didn't miss anything. Then I'll talk Army and Navy for a second here. Let's see. All right, let me start with the Army and Navy stuff, and then there's another question here that I will get to a second that an affiliate asked. Okay, so as a former SEAL, I feel very confident in saying this. We had a couple Army guys chime in, so I would defer to the Army guys for their expertise. But if somebody wanted to go to BUDS, which is SEAL school, which is highly unpleasant, and they were following CrossFit Lynchpin, they're like, I want to go to BUDS, what should I do? My immediate short answer would be, if you've been doing CrossFit Lynchpin for a year or two, and you can do most of the stuff and do it rather well, you can just show up to BUDS. I hope that you know how to swim, but there are plenty of people. Let's say that you're just an average swimmer. Okay, you have to have some capacity at the side stroke. Okay, you're an average swimmer, good enough just to pass the requirement in the entrance exam, which is not a super fast swim, but good enough to get in there. There are so many people that show up to BUDS that are in way worse shape than the average CrossFitter in the world. Way worse shape, okay, if you were to measure them on a wide variety of metrics. However, maybe they're not in as quite a good of shape, well-rounded, but those that make it showed up because they wanted to show up, showed up because they knew what they were signing up for, and they had whatever screw loose upstairs that drives most of us into that training, and they have decided that this is what they want to do with their life. They have decided that they're willing to die before they're going to quit, and there's a good chance that they're going to be there on graduation day, and their capacity will increase as the weeks and months go by. They'll suffer more than they should initially because they should have showed up in better shape, but they're so mentally tough that they'll be there on graduation day. Conversely, you could have somebody who is a physical stud, doesn't have it between the ears, and quits before dinner. So physical capacity is one thing, but then what you got going on between the ears is something different. But if both people had the exact same mental toughness, let's say that, then if you showed up having followed along for the last couple of years and you were a moderate swimmer, you would be just fine. You'd be just fine. And incrementally, as the training increased, the runs would get longer, the swims would get longer, the grinder sessions would get longer, and you would be just fine. It'd be highly unpleasant, but you'd be just fine. There's no way to avoid suffering in those courses. Hopefully you can just reduce it a little bit. And I heard the Army individual here. Let's see, I'm an Army officer. I used Lynchpin programming with my own ruck run program. Was more than prepared for selection. Will continue to use through Q course. Yes, thank you, T. Hardy. I was actually going to kind of say that. So if, we don't do a lot of rucking in BUDS. We leave that to the Army guys. So in the Army side of the house, you're going to have, I've got plenty of Army buddies. Those boys will just put some miserable weight on their back, and they will go for miserable distances. I mean, my hat is off to them in any way, shape, or form, and that's a unique stimulus to your body. So if you knew that you were going to get involved in something which involved a unique stimulus like that, without question, I would expose yourself to that stimulus with some degree of regularity to build not only the capacity to it, but the tolerance. There's just something in knowing how that feels and knowing that what that suck feels like, and so that when you get in there, you know that you can handle it, you've experienced it before, and you're good to go. But the general baseline of physical capacity, once again, you're going to be just fine. But if there's something unique, you may want to layer on that little something unique. Let's see. All right, there was one other question here that I want to get to, and then I'll try to end this because I know nobody likes a super long video. Okay, here we go. John Bell _Ballycastle. Should an affiliate buy in programming or do their own? Pros either way. Your own equals you have a connection to it and you're taking your own medicine versus buying it. Well-rounded, world-class programming. Thoughts? John Barbell. So I will try to answer that in the most unbiased way possible because obviously I offer Linchpin programming for affiliates, but there are pros and cons. It just depends. I mean, if the affiliate owner, I know firsthand that creating well-rounded programming with the warm-ups and the cool-downs and the scaling and the whole 9 yards, it takes a long time to do that and to do it well. And there's a lot that goes into it. It is what it is. A lot of time, a lot of experience, a lot of lessons learned. If the affiliate, and being an affiliate owner is you're wearing a lot of hats. You're a busy individual. Your time is valuable. So if you crunch all those numbers and you're like, you know what, a better use of all those hours is me doing something else, well then offloading it to somebody that you trust is a fantastic idea. If you know that for whatever that nominal fee is, that the programming just rolls in, you don't have to worry about it, and now you can focus on developing your business, focus on developing your coaches, focus on building a community, focus on the books behind hand or running in a bit, whatever you happen to be, then that could be a very good use of your time, versus having to do every single solitary thing yourself. But the other side is, and some people just don't like programming. Not everybody liked it. Some people love coaching, love building a community, but can't stand programming. They like to do the workouts, but the creating them is a different deal. However, if you own or run an affiliate and you have the time, don't mind the time, and you enjoy it, then absolutely, there's no worries at all in doing that. It's just a highly individual and personal choice for wherever that affiliate owner is in their season of life and their scope of their business and the whole 9 yards. That's kind of it. All right, let's see if I missed anything. If not, we'll roll out of here. Hey man, I'm from Brazil. Hello, Brazil. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. We'll get maybe final question. Changing rounds or minutes make it a lot harder in the class. Interesting question. And we could dive into that just because the question is based upon if you change rounds or minutes or something, does that make a workout harder? That's a 30-minute video right there, because more rounds don't necessarily make a workout harder. Adding minutes to an AMRAP don't necessarily make a workout harder. Adding weight doesn't necessarily make it harder. It makes it different, makes it longer, makes it heavier, but those things don't necessarily make workouts harder. And here's the other thing which is interesting. What are you chasing? Are you chasing a harder workout, or are you chasing a more effective workout that produces results and gets you fit? And all of those things are not the same. If that was the case, everybody would just make a long, grinding, grueling, hard workout, and that would be the most effective workout, and that would get everyone the most fit and have them feeling great. And that's not the way that it works. So, let's see. CJP777. Is there a separate program you offer for affiliates, or is it the normal program? So the affiliate programming, it's the same workouts, warm-ups, the whole 9 yards as the individual program. But what the affiliates get also is they get a package through Beyond the Whiteboard. And so what they do is all that information goes to the affiliate owner, so they don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And then the affiliate owner gets a package through Beyond the Whiteboard for, let's say, 50 members, 80 members, 100 members, whatever they want. All of those members get the Beyond the Whiteboard app on their phone or whatnot, and then that affiliate owner can share all of the information from the Lynchpin private track with those members. So their members can show up having seen what the workout is, already being familiar with the warm-up, the demo movement videos or whatnot, scaling recommendations, and then the video kind of detailing what the stimulus is, how to approach it and all that, and they can handle all that. The coaches can check that out, And then obviously they can log and track all their data and information and whatnot. So that's that. Well, hopefully that helps with, we spiraled down a couple rabbit holes, which are always fun, of starting off with special agent selection. We talked about SEALs. We talked about Green Beret stuff. I mean, all communities just embraced one big happy world. So that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and we will talk later.